1, 0.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to another Wednesday where I'm cooking the books. Take that book list, collecting dust in the corner, read it to you so you don't have to. I have a new setup, so I'm still getting used to it a little bit, so forgive me. Hopefully you guys can hear me. My mic is somewhat closer to me, so I don't know if that sounds any different at all, but there's that. Welcome. Hi. How's it going? So you know my screen's over here. Cameras were right here. And then this is over here. So I'm trying to figure out, like, do I want to change my stuff up or not? I don't know. But hi. Hope you guys are having a good day. Middle of the week. Hump day. Go Royals, I think, is appropriate currently. I could be wrong. Someone will tell me. Pretty sure it's the Royals. Yeah. What else? Yes, forgive me as I still get used to this because I have 3 screens now. I'm replacing windows and there's one right behind my desk next week, and we have to have everything like moved out of the way and take the blinds down and everything. So I was doing that this weekend. I moved my desk stuff, which was over here to my right, your left. I don't freaking know. That's the left. Yeah. And then I had my 2. So I had 2 monitors. Well, technically 3 because I have a work laptop and then the 2 monitors. And 2 monitors for my personal PC on this side. So I moved my work desk upstairs because I no longer have people living up there. Realized that I was only using one of my work monitors and was using a personal monitor. So it made me it allowed me to have 3 monitors down here. So I'm having fun with that, trying to figure it all out. There's still not quite enough room. I could probably adjust spacing, but then the cats wouldn't be happy with me. So I have my middle monitor portrait instead of landscape. So I like work my tabs a specific way for that monitor and have fun with that. So yeah. All right, let me say hi to the chat real quick. Give you guys time to chill with me. Hello, Legatus. How are you? Perfectly on time as always. And Dom, hi. This was the reason for my comment. As you very well know, you can ignore it if you wish, but I still said it. Huh. But welcome, even on the replay. Kel, hello. Monkey boys. Yes, I am. Basically what happens, I'm the kid sister, like I'm the baby of all of our siblings. And what generally tends to happen is I get all the hand-me-downs. So my brother is more well off than I am. So he went and bought himself a curved monitor. And then he has his 2 other monitors that are also brand new. So he donates me his stuff that isn't too broken. So yeah, we have extra monitors all over the house. And these ones are quite nice. The ones that I had used before were very, very old monitors. Very old. They were thicker, not quite like 80s style build your house around your computer thick, but yeah. So yes, be jealous. Be quite jealous. Oh, Cloud gets 2 of those monitors, those old monitors that my brother just replaced as well. So you better thank me once I can get them sent out. I'm so sorry, Cloud. Hi, Blue-Eyed Scorpio. How are you? To return to pumping out Red Dead Redemption shorts. Nice. I saw that you were playing that recently. I can't quite catch your lives all the time, which makes me sad. Because I've got epic power for you. Oh, look, everybody. Those who don't have Twitter, you can't really see them on camera. Aw, they're little kitty cats. And sparkly. See, there's the kitty. And then these ones have tails. That was for Blue-Eyed Scorpio mostly. Until someone like Devil and Sam and Jack, if they can make it into chat, it's also for them. And I hope they go back and they see it. Let's see. I can click off of that now. I really want the Mets to make it as well. They're Blue-Eyed Scorpio. Can you guys hear me okay, though? Do I need to talk louder? Can I speak softly? Hey, CJ, what's up? How's it going? You'll appreciate my shirt. I like to dress in theme, as you guys know. Almost forgot to show you. I mean, this is Vegeta. It ain't no Goku, but it's my husbando. Okay, rock on. I'm glad it sounds great. Let's see. Something else I was gonna do. Just using my RK Outpost mug today. I'm sure Mudcrab is asleep and forgot, because he's always the one that asks me about it. Let's see. Oh, I have pinned to the pinned to the top of chat, as usual, is my stream elements. I appreciate any tips that anyone can send, but please do not feel obligated. If you wish to send me money, I appreciate it. But otherwise, I just appreciate you being here. My man. That's my guy. Now, in my Twitter post, I have established that it is definitely based off of this book, this story. Because Goku is essentially just like Sun Wukong, and currently Sun Wukong pisses me off like a lot. You all know this, of course, because you've been here while I read through, and I essentially jinx myself when I say, see, as long as he's given direction, he does well. This motherfucker drives me crazy. Well, it's a good thing that Dom does not control my streams, so you, sir, can stay. Okay, so yes, Dom, was it $20, I think? Last week? So I was looking and I was like, did I get a tip last week? Because I didn't remember reading anything. You didn't say anything, so thank you. If it was a $20 tip, it does say 7 days ago. I did not recall, but I have a terrible memory, reading that anyone had tipped me. So I was really confused. And as I was checking, CJ, thank you, has tipped $10. And he says, I love this series. Thank you for the read through. Let me know what you think of the film or TV adaptation if you watch them. Well, CJ, I most likely will, because what I like to do with cooking the books is I'll read the chapters until I finish the book to you guys. And then I'll do a let it simmer, which is my clever little wordplay way to finish cooking the books by letting it simmer, by going over my thoughts. And with John Carter, 2 books ago, I decided to do kind of like a comparison between the first book in the series, with the movie, to just kind of go over my thoughts and comparisons, like how did I like the characters or the story and whatnot. Dom joined me for that. And then this last one, there was a TV adaptation of Haunting of Hill House, to which I enjoyed the show much better than I enjoyed the book, let's say. Not a perfect show by any means, but Dom H and Blue Eyed Scorpio joined me for that. So honestly, if you feel like joining me, us, whomever, it's kind of like an open invitation. I almost said open book. Wow. I guess I'm an open book. If anyone wants to join me for those things. So I'll probably do the film, but maybe the TV adaptation, because it's only a week in between once I finish the book. So depending on timing, it might just be the film, because that'd be easier. I did power through and binge watch. I think it was 8 episodes for Haunting of Hill House. But that was like all in one day, and it was like 10 hours. So that was interesting. But yeah, so thank you again, CJ. I appreciate it. And Dom for last week. And I apologize for missing it. Sorry. Yes, it was unfortunately 2 books ago, because we read Devil's Choice in books. And thank you, Dom. I appreciate it. All right. I think that is all we needed before I do a quick little recap, which, you know, you guys are getting used to my brain and how it malfunctions. Might need the book to help me with my refresh or recap, because we did chapters 4 and 5 last week. Basically, he got into trouble with the Jade Emperor. Yes, I believe that's his name. the Jade Emperor, because of all the shenanigans that he pulled on Earth. But he quickly realized that they brought him up there to essentially keep him from causing trouble on Earth, and he left. So they gave him this really, really, really low rank in the stables, essentially, where he was managing everybody that manages the stables. And once he found out that it was not a king-like appointment and rank up there, he was like, screw this, I'm out, and he went back to Earth. Did he cause more trouble when he was on Earth? The Ban Horse Plague is what he was called. Oh yes, and so they went back down to Earth. He sent a couple of people to come bring him back with like their small units, and that did not work out because our monkey that we're following was very powerful. The second person that he fought, well, the first person he fought, let's see, what was your name? The Mighty Spirit God? It was like Deva Raja Lee. That's what it was. And his son Nada, Prince Nada. Yeah, the third Prince Nada. And it was not Deva Raja Lee who he fought first. I don't believe. It was someone else. God, I suck at this. I'm so sorry. There's a lot of names to figure out, and you could just say that about friggin' Sun Wukong. The Mighty Spirit God. Let's see. A level piece of land was selected for encampment, and the order was then given to the Mighty Spirit God to provoke battle. Yeah, he was one of the lieutenants. After reviewing the troops and their captains, they appointed to Mighty. Haha. Okay. The vanward commander, the fishbelly general, to bring up the rear. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So the Mighty Spirit God was the one that first fought him, and he lost practically quite easily and had to return to their encampment in shame. But when Deva Raja Lee wanted to punish him, his son said that he would go in his place and attempt it and to spare that guy. Well, the son fought quite a more lengthy battle, and they were basically match for match. And eventually, so they battled for 30 rounds. And the third prince was able to use his magic to have 6 arms. So Wukong battled him in the same vein with 6 as well. And he was able to take like his weapon and split it amongst the arms. So there's that. Deva Raja Lee saw what was happening and was about to go to his son's assistance. Okay. So yeah, Sun Wukong was able to wound him in the shoulder, the prince. So they retreated. He talked his dad into retreating. And then once they got back to the Jade Emperor, what's his face? The gold star of Venus, I believe. Yeah. Yep, gold star of Venus. Was able to talk him down again, the Jade Emperor, and went down to offer him that's what it was. I knew I was missing something. He was demanding that he be called he gave himself a fancy name, like he's better than the heavens or something. Oriented stables. I'm going to find it because it's going to bother me. Unless you guys know in chat. Forgive me. You guys get to witness in real time what it's like to be my brain. The Great Sage equal to heaven. That's what he wanted to be named. And that's why he was fighting for it. Everyone that came down to talk to him and bring him back was just like, hey, dude, come back. And he's like, no, you gave me a terrible rank, so you must call me this. Otherwise, leave. Yeah. And so there's that. That was chapter 4, basically. So the gold star of heaven was able to, or of Venus, was able to go down and say, okay, that's what we'll call you. Please come back up to heaven. And they made up a rank, that the Great Sage was a made up rank. And he's not actually getting it's not an official rank, and he's not actually getting paid for it, but they gave him like this palace and everything. And yeah, he was happy, appeased, wasn't causing too much trouble. But he was basically just going around doing nothing, and it was starting to annoy people because he basically didn't have an assignment. So people complained. The Jade Emperor gave him a job in it's like the peach garden. That sounds terrible. Garden of Immortal Peaches. Your life is quite indolent. Since you have nothing to do and we've decided therefore to give you an assignment, you will temporarily take care of the Garden of Immortal Peaches. Be careful and diligent morning and evening. And so he went to happily go do his duties. And I, silly me, thought that it would be a good thing for him to organize everything. And then basically after I drew breath for the next friggin' few sentences, he started essentially just sending away the people in the garden that he was overseeing, so he could eat the peaches, because he's a pain in the butt. And then the Lady Queen Mother decided to throw the grand festival of immortal peaches and sent her immortal maidens to go fetch all of the peaches. Well, when they got there, the local spirits that work in the garden told them that they couldn't enter because the Great Sage ordered that no one was allowed to, because he didn't want to get caught eating the peaches. Well, they convinced him, convince them? Oh, yeah. Like he would say that he was sleeping alone in the arbor, and that's why he didn't want to be disturbed. And they didn't want to be late, so they convinced the local spirit to let them go in. And the Great Sage he made himself tiny, so they didn't see him. So they went about like picking the peaches and everything. They gathered 2 basketfuls from the trees in front and filled 3 more baskets. And then one of the maidens pulled a branch down, not realizing that he was on it, and it kind of flung him into the air. Woke him up. So he revealed himself, and then he froze them, like with his magic. Because they were unaware if he was invited or not to the festival. So he froze them and was like, I'll come back once I figure out if I'm invited or whatever. Well, he gets there and kind of gets distracted by, like, he sent off one of the guys that he met. God, I'm really bad at this. I'm so sorry. The great immortal of naked feet, he ran into him. And so he was on his way to the party or whatever, the festival. And the great sage sent him on a wild goose chase, saying that it was different from last year. So he could get there first. Oh, yeah. So he could change into the form of the guy, take on his form. That's what it was. Sorry. There's a lot of stuff that happened with this. So he eventually drinks wine, goes to that he's not supposed to drink, essentially. He's so terrible. Yeah, he steals the elixir at another palace. The Laojai. Yeah, there was an elixir, I think, that gives you immortality or extends your life. And so he drank all of it, or ate. They were like little tablets, I think. Yeah, he ate them like fried beans. He realized that he was going to get in trouble, so he left again to go back to his people. He was basically living for over a century in heaven at this point. Like, once he got back, he realized what the time difference was. They explained to him how long he was gone, basically. And then he does go back to sneak more of, I think, the elixir or the wine to give to his people. And then, of course, the Jade Emperor figured everything out. Like, people came to complain again. And they kind of go to war, essentially. All the deities immediately alerted their troops and departed from the heavenly palace. They kind of surround them, cover them with a net around the mountain. It was actually kind of cool. They did lose a few of their people, but they weren't, none of the monkeys were lost, though. So he took that as a win, essentially. But there were, I think, foxes and like baboons taken, maybe? Remember? Because they were all laughing and crying when he got back. When we fought with the Deva kings this morning, the monster kings of 72 caves and the one-horned demon king were all taken captive by the gods. We were the only ones who managed to escape alive, and that is why we cried. Now we see the great sage has returned unharmed and triumphant, and so we laugh as well. The chieftains that were captured were tigers, leopards, wolves, and insects, badgers and foxes, and the like. Not a single member of our own kind has been hurt. When morning comes, watch me perform a great magic and capture some of these generals from heaven so that our comrades may be avenged. That's essentially the plan. The soldiers in charge of the cosmic nets that surrounded the mountain, they were ordered to carry bells and were given passwords. They encircled the flower fruit mountain to await the great battle of the next day, and each soldier everywhere diligently kept his watch. So this is the situation. The fiendish monkey riots through heaven and earth, but the net spreads open, ready night and day. And that's where we left off last time. God, there's a lot to summarize in this. I hope that wasn't too terrible of a recap. It kind of was. It's okay. I bored you out of your gourds. Yes, I believe it was 1 year equals 10 days or 10 years. Something along those lines. I can't quite remember. Nerd Takes, hello. Thank you. It is a lovely hat, is it not? Make sure that Dom is aware of that, please. Glad you're here. You caught me just in time. We were about to start reading chapter 6, so let's get that started, shall we? And forgive me, I'm still getting adjusted to my new setup here. So I might move a lot while I read, which I tend to do just in general. So here we go. Chapter 6. Guan Yin, attending the banquet, inquires into the cause. The little sage, exerting his power, subdues the great sage. For the moment, we shall not tell you about the siege of the gods or the great sage at rest. We speak instead of the great compassionate deliverer. The efficacious Bodhisattva, Guan Yin, from the Potalaka mountain of the South Sea, invited by the Lady Queen Mother to attend the grand festival of immortal peaches, she arrived at the treasure chamber of the Jasper Pool with her senior disciple, Huan. There they found the whole place desolate and the banquet tables in utter disarray. Although several members of the heavenly pantheon were present, none was seated. Instead, they were all engaged in vigorous exchanges and discussions. After the Bodhisattva had greeted the various deities, they told her what had occurred. Since there will be no festival, said the Bodhisattva, nor any raising of cups, all of you might as well come with this humble cleric to see the Jade Emperor. The gods followed her gladly, and they went to the entrance to the Hall of Perfect Light. There, the Bodhisattva was met by the 4 celestial masters and the immortal of naked feet, who recounted how the celestial soldiers, ordered by an enraged Jade Emperor to capture the monster, had not yet returned. The Bodhisattva said, I would like to have an audience with the Jade Emperor. May I trouble one of you to announce my arrival? The heavenly preceptor, Hongji, went at once into the treasure hall of divine mists and, having made his report, invited Guan Yin to enter. Lao Zhi, I can't remember how I pronounced it last time. I apologize. Lao Zhi then took the upper seat with the emperor, while the Lady Queen Mother was in attendance behind the throne. The Bodhisattva led the crowd inside. After paying homage to the Jade Emperor, they also saluted Lao Zhi and the Queen Mother. When each of them was seated, she asked, How is the grand festival of immortal peaches? Every year when the festival has been given, said the Jade Emperor, we have thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. This year it has been completely ruined by a baneful monkey, leaving us with nothing but an invitation to disappointment. Where did this baneful monkey come from? Asked the Bodhisattva. He was born of a stone egg on top of the flower fruit mountain of the Aulai country of the East Purvavidaya continent, said the Jade Emperor. At the moment of his birth, 2 beams of golden light flashed immediately from his eyes, reaching as far as the palace of the pole star. We did not think much of that, but he later became a monster, subduing the dragon and taming the tiger, as well as eradicating his name from the register of death. When the dragon kings and the kings of the underworld brought the matter to our attention, we wanted to capture him. The Star of Long Life, however, observed that all the beings of the 3 regions that possessed the 9 apertures could attain immortality. We therefore decided to educate and nurture the talented monkey and summoned him to the region above. He was appointed to the post of Bimawen at the imperial stables, but taking offense at the lowliness of his position, he left heaven in rebellion. We then sent Devaraja Lee and Prince Nada to ask for his submission by proclaiming a decree of pacification. I guess I didn't need to recap this time. The book's doing it for me. He was brought again to the region above and was appointed the great sage, equal to heaven, a rank without compensation. Since he had nothing to do but to wander east and west, we feared that he might cause further trouble. So he was asked to look after the garden of immortal peaches, but he broke the law and ate all the large peaches from the oldest trees. By then, the banquet was about to be given. As a person without salary, he was, of course, not invited. Nonetheless, he plotted to deceive the immortal of naked feet and managed to sneak into the banquet by assuming the immortal's appearance. He finished off all the divine wine and food, after which he also stole Lao Zhai's elixir and took away a considerable quantity of imperial wine for the enjoyment of his mountain monkeys. Our mind has been sorely vexed by this, and we therefore sent 100,000 celestial soldiers with cosmic nets to capture him. We haven't yet received today's report on how the battle is faring. When the Bodhisattva heard this, she said to disciple Huan, "You must leave heaven at once, go down to the flower fruit mountain, and inquire into the military situation. If the enemy is engaged, you can lend your assistance. In any event, you must bring back a factual report." The disciple Huan straightened out his attire and mounted the cloud to leave the palace, an iron rod in his hand. When he arrived at the mountain, he found layers of cosmic net drawn tightly and sentries at every gate holding bells and shouting passwords. The encirclement of the mountain was indeed watertight. Huan stood still and called out, "Heavenly sentinels, may I trouble you to announce my arrival? I am Prince Moxa, second son of Devaraja Lee, and I am also Huan, senior disciple of Guanyin of South Sea. I have come to inquire about the military situation." The divine soldiers of the 5 mountains at once reported this beyond the gate. The constellations Aquarius, Pleiades, Hydra, and Scorpio then conveyed the message to the central tent. Devaraja Lee issued a directorial flag which ordered the cosmic nets to be opened and entrance permitted for the visitor. Day was just dawning in the east as Huan followed the flag inside and prostrated himself before the 4 great Devarajas and Devaraja Lee. After he had finished his greetings, Devaraja Lee said, "My child, where have you come from?" "Your untutored son," said Huan, accompanied the Bodhisattva to attend the Festival of Immortal Peaches. Seeing that the festival was desolate and the jasper pool laid waste, the Bodhisattva led the various deities and your untutored son to have an audience with the Jade Emperor. The Jade Emperor spoke at length about father and king's expedition to the region below to subdue the baneful monkey. Since no report has returned for a whole day, and neither victory nor defeat has been ascertained, the Bodhisattva ordered your untutored son to come here to find out how things stand. "We came here yesterday to set up the encampment," said Devaraja Lee, "and the 9 luminaries were sent to provoke battle. But this fellow made a grand display of his magical powers, and the 9 luminaries all returned defeated. After that, I led the troops personally to confront him, and the fellow also brought his forces into formation. Our 100,000 celestial soldiers fought with him until evening, when he retreated from the battle by using the magic of body division. When we recalled the troops and made our investigation, we found that we had captured some wolves, crawling creatures, tigers, leopards, and the like. But we did not even catch half a monkey monster. And today we have not yet gone into battle. As he was saying all this, someone came from the gate of the camp to report. That great sage leading his band of monkey monsters is shouting for battle outside. The four Devarajas, Devaraja Lee, and the prince at once made plans to bring out the troops, when Moksha said, "Father King, your untutored son was told by the Bodhisattva to come down here to acquire information. She also told me to give you assistance should there be actual combat. Though I am not very talented, I volunteer to go out and see what kind of a great sage this is." "Child," said the Devaraja, "since you have studied with the Bodhisattva for several years, you must, I suppose, have some powers, but do be careful." "Dear Prince," grasping the iron rod with both hands, he tightened up his embroidered garment and leapt out of the gate. "Who is the great sage equal to heaven?" he cried. Holding high his compliant rod, the great sage answered, "None other than Old Monkey here. Who are you that you dare question me? I am Moksha, the second prince of Devaraja Lee," said Moksha. "At present, I am also the disciple of Bodhisattva Guanyin, a defender of the faith before her treasure throne, and my religious name is Huan." "Why have you left your religious training at South Sea and come here to see me?" said the great sage. "I was sent by my master to inquire about the military situation," said Moksha. "Seeing what a nuisance you have made of yourself, I have come specifically to capture you." "You dare to talk so big?" said the great sage. "But don't run away. Have a taste of Old Monkey's rod." Moksha was not at all frightened and met his opponent squarely with his own iron rod. The two of them stood before the gate of the camp at mid-mountain, and what a magnificent battle they fought. Though one rod is pitted against another, the iron's quite different. Though this weapon couples with the other, the persons are not the same. This one's called the great sage, a wayward primordial god. The other is Guanyin's disciple, a true hero and proud. The all-iron rod has been pounded 1,000 times, made by 6 gods of darkness and 6 gods of light. The compliant rod sets the depth of heaven's river, a thing divine ruling the oceans with magic might. The two of them, in meeting, have found their match. Back and forth they battle in endless rounds. From this one, the rod of stealthy hands, savage and fierce, around the waist stabs and jabs swiftly as the wind. From the other, the rod, doubling as a spear, driving and relentless, lets up not a moment its parrying left and right. On this side, the banners flare and flutter. On the other, the war drums roll and rattle. 10,000 celestial fighters circle round and round. The monkey monsters of a whole cave stand in rows and rows. The weird fog and dark clouds spread throughout the earth. The fume and smoke of battle reach even heaven's home. Yesterday's battle was something to behold. Still more violent is the contest today. Envy the truly able Monkey King. Moksha's beaten. He is fleeing for life. Our great sage battled Huan for 50 or 60 rounds until the prince's arms and shoulders were sore and numb, and he could fight no longer. After one final futile swing of his weapon, he fled in defeat. The great sage then gathered together his monkey troops and stationed them securely outside the entrance of the cave. At the camp of the Devaraja, the celestial soldiers could be seen receiving the prince and making way for him to enter the gate. Panting and puffing, he ran in and gasped out to the 4 Devarajas, Pagoda Bearer Lee, and Nada. "The great sage, what an ace! Great indeed is his magical power. Your son cannot overcome him and has returned defeated." Shocked by the sight, Devaraja Lee at once wrote a memorial to the throne to request further assistance. The demon king, Mahabali, and Prince Moksha were sent to heaven to present the document. Not daring to linger, the two of them crashed out of the cosmic nets and mounted the holy mist and hallowed cloud. In a moment, they reached the hall of perfect light and met the four celestial masters, who led them into the treasure hall of divine mists to present their memorial. Juan also saluted the Bodhisattva, who asked him, "What have you found out about the situation?" "When I reached the flower fruit mountain by your order," said Juan, "I opened the cosmic nets by my call. Seeing my father, I told him of my master's intentions in sending me. Father King said, 'We fought a battle yesterday with that monkey king, but managed to take from him only tigers, leopards, lions, elephants, and the like. We did not catch a single one of his monkey monsters.' As we were talking, he again demanded battle. Your disciple used the iron rod to fight him for 50 or 60 rounds, but I could not prevail against him and returned to the camp defeated. Thus, Father had to send the demon king Mahabali and your pupil to come here for help." The Bodhisattva lowered her head and pondered. "We now tell you about the Jade Emperor, who opened the memorial and found a message asking for assistance." "This is rather absurd," he said, laughing. "Is this monkey monster such a wizard that not even 100,000 soldiers from heaven can vanquish him? Devaraja Ali is again asking for help. What division of divine warriors can we send to assist him?" Hardly had he finished speaking when Guanyin folded her hands and said to him, Your Majesty, let not your mind be troubled. This humble cleric will recommend a god who can capture the monkey." "Which one would you recommend?" said the Jade Emperor. "Your Majesty's nephew," said the Bodhisattva, "the immortal master of illustrious sagacity, Erlang, who is living at the mouth of the River of Libations in the Guan Prefecture and enjoying the incense and oblations offered to him from the region below. In former days, he himself slew 6 monsters. Under his command are the brothers of Plum Mountain and 1,200 plant-headed deities, all possessing great magical powers. However, he will agree only to special assignments and will not obey any general summons. Your Majesty may want to send an edict transferring his troops to the scene of the battle and requesting his assistance. Our monster will surely be captured." When the Jade Emperor heard this, he immediately issued such an edict and ordered the Demon King Mahabali to present it. Having received the edict, the Demon King mounted a cloud and went straight to the mouth of the River of Libations. It took him less than half an hour to reach the temple of the Immortal Master. Immediately, the demon magistrates guarding the door made this report inside. "There is a messenger from heaven outside who has arrived with an edict in his hand." Erlang and his brothers came out to receive the edict, which was read before burning incense. The edict said, "The great sage equal to heaven, a monstrous monkey from the flower fruit mountain, is in revolt. At the palace, he stole peaches, wine, and elixir, and disrupted the grand festival of immortal peaches. 100,000 heavenly soldiers with 18 sets of cosmic nets were dispatched to surround the mountain and capture him, but victory has not yet been secured. We therefore make this special request of our worthy nephew and his sworn brothers to go to the flower fruit mountain and assist in destroying this monster. Following your success will be lofty elevation and abundant reward." In great delight, the immortal master said, "Let the messenger of heaven go back. I will go at once to offer my assistance with drawn sword." The Demon King went back to report, but we shall speak no further of that. This immortal master called together the 6 brothers of Plum Mountain. They were Kang, Zhang, Yao, and Li, the 4 grand marshals, and Guo Shen and Ji Jian, the 2 generals. As they congregated before the court, he said to them, "The Jade Emperor just now sent us to the Flower Fruit Mountain to capture a monstrous monkey. Let's get going." Delighted and willing, the brothers at once called out the divine soldiers under their command. With falcons mounted and dogs on leashes, the arrows ready and bows drawn, they left in a violent magic wind and crossed in a moment the great Eastern Ocean. As they landed on the Flower Fruit Mountain, they saw their way blocked by dense layers of cosmic net. "Divine commanders guarding the cosmic nets, hear us," they shouted. "We are specially assigned by the Jade Emperor to capture the monstrous monkey. Open the gate of your camp quickly and let us through." The various deities conveyed the message to the inside level by level. The 4 Devarajas and Devaraja Lee then came out to the gate of the camp to receive them. After they had exchanged greetings, there were questions about the military situation, and the Devaraja gave them a thorough briefing. Now that I, the little sage, have come, said the immortal master, laughing, he will have to engage in a contest of transformations with his adversary. You gentlemen make sure that the cosmic nets are tightly drawn on all sides, but leave the top uncovered. Let me try my hand in this contest. If I lose, you gentlemen need not come to my assistance, for my own brothers will be there to support me. If I win, you gentlemen will not be needed in tying him up either. My own brothers will take care of that. All I need is the pagoda bearer, Devaraja, to stand in midair with his imp-reflecting mirror. If the monster should be defeated, I fear that he may try to flee to a distant locality. Make sure that his image is clearly reflected in the mirror so that we don't lose him. The Devarajas set themselves up in the 4 directions, while the heavenly soldiers all lined up according to their planned formations. With himself as the 7th brother, the immortal master led the 4 grand marshals and the 2 generals out of the camp to provoke battle. The other warriors were ordered to defend their encampment with vigilance, and the plant-headed deities were ordered to have the falcons and dogs ready for battle. The immortal master went to the front of the water-curtained cave, where he saw a troop of monkeys neatly positioned in an array that resembled a coiled dragon. At the center of the array was the banner bearing the words, "The Great Sage, equal to heaven." "That audacious monster," said the immortal master. "How dare he assume the rank equal to heaven?" "There's no time for praise or blame," said the 6 brothers of Plum Mountain. "Let's challenge him at once." When the little monkeys in front of the camp saw the immortal master, they ran quickly to make their report. Seizing his golden hooped rod, straightening out his golden cuirass, slipping on his cloud-treading shoes, and pressing down his red gold cap, the Monkey King leapt out of the camp. He opened his eyes wide to stare at the immortal master, whose features were remarkably refined and whose attire was most elegant. Truly, he was a man of features most comely and most noble mien, with shoulder-reaching ears and shining eyes. His head wore the 3 mountains phoenix cap. His body donned a pale yellow goose-down robe. Gold-threaded boots matched coiling dragon socks. 8 flower-like emblems his jade belt adorned. From his waist hung the crescent pellet bow. His hands held a lance of 3 points and 2 blades. Once he cleaved Peach Mountain to save his mother. His one pellet struck a tall tree's 2 phoenixes, slaying 8 fiends flung far his fame, as bond brother midst Plum Mountain's 7 saints. His lofty mind scorned being high heaven's kin. His pride led him to dwell near libation's stream. From Chi City here's the kind heroic sage. Of boundless epiphanies he's named Erlang. When the great sage saw him, he lifted high his golden hooped rod with gales of laughter and called out, "What little warrior are you, and where do you come from, that you dare present yourself here to provoke battle?" "You must have eyes, but no pupils," shouted the immortal master, "if you don't recognize me. I am the maternal nephew of the Jade Emperor, Erlang, the king of illustrious grace and spirit, by imperial appointment. I have received my order from above to arrest you, the rebellious Bimawen ape. Don't you know that your time has come? I remember," said the great sage, "that the sister of the Jade Emperor some years ago became enamored of the region below. She married a man by the name of Yang and had a son by him. Are you that boy who was reputed to have cleaved open the Peach Mountain with his axe? I would like to rebuke you roundly, but I have no grudge against you. I can hit you with this rod of mine too, but I'd like to spare your life. A little boy like you, why don't you hurry back and ask your 4 great Devarajas to come out?" When the immortal master heard this, he grew very angry and shouted, "Reckless ape, don't you dare be so insolent. Take a sample of my blade." Swerving to dodge the blow, the great sage quickly raised his golden hooped rod to engage his opponent. What a fine fight there was between the two of them. Erlang, the god of illustrious kindness, and the great sage equal to heaven. This one, haughty and proud, defied the handsome monkey king. That one, not knowing his man, would crush all stalwart foes. Suddenly, these two met, and both desired a match. They had never known which was the better man. Today, they'd learn who's strong and who's weak. The iron rod seemed a flying dragon, and the lance divine a dancing phoenix. Left and right they struck, attacking both front and back. The Plum Mountain's 6 brothers' awesome presence filled one side, while the 4 generals like Ma and Lu took command on the other. All worked as one to wave flags and roll drums. All helped the fight by cheers while beating the gong. 2 sharp weapons sought a chance to hurt, but thrusts and parries did not slack one whit. The golden hooped rod, wonder of the sea, could change and fly to snare a victory. A little lag and your life is over. A tiny error and your luck runs out. The immortal master fought the great sage for more than 300 rounds, but the result still could not be determined. The immortal master therefore summoned all his magical powers. With a shake, he made his body 100,000 feet tall, holding with both hands the divine lance of 3 points and 2 blades, like the peaks that cap the Hua Mountain. This green-faced, saber-toothed figure with scarlet hair aimed a violent blow at the head of the great sage. But the great sage also exerted his magical power and changed himself into a figure having the features and height of Erlang. He wielded a compliant golden-hoofed rod that resembled the heaven-supporting pillar on top of Mount Kunlun to oppose the god Erlang. This vision so terrified the marshals, Ma and Lu, that they could no longer wave the flags, and so appalled the generals, Bang and Ba, that they could use neither scimitar nor sword. On the side of Erlang, the brothers Kang, Zhang, Yao, Li, Guo Shen, and Ji Jian gave the order to the plant-headed deities to let loose the falcons and dogs and to advance upon those monkeys in front of the water curtain cave with mounted arrows and drawn bows. The charge, alas, dispersed the 4 mighty commanders of monkey imps and captured 2,000 or 3,000 numinous fiends. Those monkeys dropped their spears and abandoned their armor, forsook their swords, and threw away their lances. They scattered in all directions, running, screaming, scuttling up the mountain, or scrambling back to the cave. It was as if a cat at night had stolen upon resting birds. They darted up as stars to fill the sky. The brothers thus gained a complete victory, of which we shall speak no further. Now we were telling you about the immortal master and the great sage who had changed themselves into forms which imitated heaven and earth. As they were doing battle, the great sage suddenly perceived that the monkeys of his camp were put to rout, and his heart grew faint. He changed out of his magic form, turned around, and fled, dragging his rod behind him. When the immortal master saw that he was running away, he chased him with great strides, saying, "Where are you going? Surrender now, and your life will be spared." The great sage did not stop to fight any more, but ran as fast as he could. Near the cave's entrance, he ran right into Kang, Zhang, Yao, and Li, the 4 grand marshals, and Guo Shen and Ji Jian, the 2 generals, who were at the head of an army blocking his way. "Lawless ape," they cried, "where do you think you're going?" Quivering all over, the great sage squeezed his golden-hooped rod back into an embroidery needle and hid it in his ear. With a shake of his body, he changed himself into a small sparrow and flew to perch on the top of a tree. In great agitation, the 6 brothers searched all around but could not find him. "We've lost the monkey monster! We've lost the monkey monster!" they all cried. As they were making all that clamor, the immortal master arrived and asked, "Brothers, where did you lose him in the chase?" "We just had him boxed in here," said the gods, "but he simply vanished." Scanning the place with his phoenix eye wide open, Erlang at once discovered that the great sage had changed into a small sparrow perched on a tree. He changed out of his magic form and took off his pellet bow. With a shake of his body, he changed into a sparrow hawk with outstretched wings, ready to attack its prey. When the great sage saw this, he darted up with a flutter of his wings, changing himself into a cormorant, He headed straight for the open sky. When Erlang saw this, he quickly shook his feathers and changed into a huge ocean crane, which could penetrate the clouds to strike with its bill. The great sage therefore lowered his direction, changed into a small fish, and dove into a stream with a splash. Erlang rushed to the edge of the water but could see no trace of him. He thought to himself, this simian must have gone into the water and changed himself into a fish, a shrimp, or the like. I'll change again to catch him. He duly changed into a fish hawk and skimmed downstream over the waves. After a while, the fish into which the great sage had changed was swimming along with the current. Suddenly, he saw a bird that looked like a green kite, though its feathers were not entirely green, like an egret, though it had small feathers, and like an old crane, though its feet were not red. That must be the transformed Erlang waiting for me, he thought to himself. He swiftly turned around and swam away after releasing a few bubbles. When Erlang saw this, he said, the fish that released the bubbles looks like a carp, though its tail is not red, like a perch, though there are no patterns on its scales, like a snakefish, though there are no stars on its head, like a bream, though its gills have no bristles. Why does it move away the moment it sees me? It must be the transformed monkey himself. He swooped toward the fish and snapped at it with his beak. The great sage shot out of the water and changed at once into a water snake. He swam toward shore and wriggled into the grass along the bank. When Erlang saw that he had snapped in vain and that a snake had darted away in the water with a splash, he knew that the great sage had changed again. Turning around quickly, he changed into a scarlet-topped gray crane, which extended its beak like sharp iron pincers to devour the snake. With a bounce, the snake changed again into a spotted bustard, standing by itself rather stupidly amid the water pepper along the bank. When Erlang saw that the monkey had changed into such a vulgar creature, for the spotted bustard is the basest and most promiscuous of birds, mating indiscriminately with phoenixes, hawks, or crows, he refused to approach him. Changing back into his true form, he went and stretched his bow to the fullest. With one pellet, he sent the bird hurtling. The great sage took advantage of this opportunity nonetheless. Rolling down the mountain slope, he squatted there to change again, this time into a little temple for the local spirit. His wide open mouth became the entrance, his teeth the doors, his tongue the bodhisattva, and his eyes the windows. Only his tail he found to be troublesome, so he tucked it up in the back and changed it into a flagpole. The immortal master chased him down the slope, but instead of the bustard he had hit, he found only a little temple. He opened his phoenix eye quickly and looked at it carefully. Seeing the flagpole behind it, he laughed and said, "It's the ape." Now he's trying to deceive me again. I've seen plenty of temples before, but never one with a flagpole behind it. This must be another of that animal's tricks. Why should I let him lure me inside where he can bite me once I've entered? First, I'll smash the windows with my fist. Then I'll kick down the doors. The great sage heard this and said in dismay, "How vicious! The doors are my teeth and the windows my eyes. What am I going to do with my eyes smashed and my teeth knocked out?" Leaping up like a tiger, he disappeared again into the air. The immortal master was looking all around for him when the 4 grand marshals and the 2 generals arrived together. "Elder brother," they said, "have you caught the great sage?" "A moment ago," said the immortal master, laughing, "the monkey changed into a temple to trick me. I was about to smash the windows and kick down the doors when he vanished out of sight with a leap. It's all very strange, very strange." The brothers were astonished, but they could find no trace of him in any direction. "Brothers," said the immortal master, "keep a lookout down here. Let me go up there to find him." He swiftly mounted the clouds and rose up into the sky, where he saw Devaraja Ali holding high the imp-reflecting mirror and standing on top of the clouds with Nada. "Devaraja," said the immortal master, "have you seen the Monkey King?" "He hasn't come up here," said the Devaraja. "I have been watching him in the mirror." After telling them about the duel in magic and transformations and the captivity of the rest of the monkeys, the immortal master said, "He finally changed into a temple. Just as I was about to attack him, he got away." When Devaraja Ali heard these words, he turned the imp-reflecting mirror all the way around once more, and he looked into it. "Immortal master," he said, roaring with laughter, "go quickly, quickly. That monkey used his magic of body concealment to escape from the cordon, and he's now heading for the mouth of your river of libations." We now tell you about the great sage who had arrived at the mouth of the river of libations. With a shake of his body, he changed into the form of Holy Father Erlang. Lowering the direction of his cloud, he went straight into the temple, and the demon magistrates could not tell that he was not the real Erlang. Every one of them, in fact, kowtowed to receive him. He sat down in the middle and began to examine the various offerings. The 3 kinds of sacrificial meat brought by Li Hu, the votive offering of Zhang Long, and the petition for a son by Zhao Jia, and the request for healing by Qian Bing. I'm so sorry, I can't read these names properly. I know I'm butchering them. As he was looking at these, someone made the report, "Another Holy Father has arrived." The various demon magistrates went quickly to look and were terror-stricken, one and all. The Immortal Master asked, "Did a so-called great sage equal to heaven come here?" "We haven't seen any great sage," said the demon magistrates, "but another Holy Father is in there examining the offerings." The Immortal Master crashed through the door. Seeing him, the great sage revealed his true form and said, "There's no need for the little boy to strive anymore. Sun is now the name of this temple." The Immortal Master lifted his divine lance of 3 points and 2 blades and struck, but the Monkey King with agile body was quick to move out of the way. He whipped out that embroidery needle of his, and with one wave caused it to take on the thickness of a rice bowl. Rushing forward, he engaged Erlang face to face. Staring at the door of the temple, the 2 combatants fought all the way back to the Flower Fruit Mountain, treading on clouds and mists and shouting insults at each other. The 4 Devarajas and their followers were so startled by their appearance that they stood guard with even greater vigilance, while the Grand Marshals joined the Immortal Master to surround the handsome Monkey King. But we shall speak of them no more. We tell you instead about the Demon King Mahabali, who, having requested the Immortal Master and his 6 brothers to lead their troops to subdue the monster, returned to the region above to make his report. Conversing with the Bodhisattva Guanyin, the Queen Mother, and the various divine officials in the Hall of Divine Mists, the Jade Emperor said, "If Erlang has already gone into battle, why has no further report come back today?" Folding her hands, Guanyin said, "Permit this humble cleric to invite your majesty and the Patriarch of Tao to go outside the South Heaven Gate, so that you may find out personally how things are faring." "That's a good suggestion," said the Jade Emperor. He at once sent for his imperial carriage and went with the Patriarch, Guanyin, the Queen Mother, and the various divine officials to the South Heaven Gate, where the cortege was met by celestial soldiers and guardians. They opened the gate and peered into the distance. There they saw cosmic nets on every side manned by celestial soldiers, Devaraja Li and Nada in midair, holding high the imp-reflecting mirror, and the Immortal Master and his brothers encircling the great sage in the middle and fighting fiercely. The Bodhisattva opened her mouth and addressed Lao Shai. "What do you think of Erlang, whom this humble cleric recommended? He is certainly powerful enough to have the great sage surrounded, if not yet captured. I shall now help him to achieve his victory and make certain that the enemy will be taken prisoner." "What weapon will the Bodhisattva use?" asked Lao Jai, "and how will you assist him?" "I shall throw down my immaculate vase that I use for holding my willow sprig, said the Bodhisattva. "When it hits that monkey, at least it will knock him over, even if it doesn't kill him. Erlang, the little sage, will then be able to capture him." "That vase of yours," said Lao Jai, "is made of porcelain. It's all right if it hits him on the head, but if it crashed on the iron rod instead, won't it be shattered? You had better not raise your hands. Let me help him win." The Bodhisattva said, "Do you have any weapon?" "I do indeed," said Lao Jai. He rolled up his sleeve and took down from his left arm an armlet, saying, "This is a weapon made of red steel, brought into existence during my preparation of elixir and fully charged with surgical forces. It can be made to transform at will. Indestructible by fire or water, it can entrap many things. It's called the diamond cutter or the diamond snare. The year when I crossed the Hongyu Pass, I depended on it a great deal for the conversion of the barbarians, for it was practically my bodyguard night and day. Let me throw it down and hit him." After saying this, Lao Jai hurled the snare down from the heaven gate. It went tumbling down into the battlefield at the Flower Fruit Mountain and landed smack on the Monkey King's head. The Monkey King was engaged in a bitter struggle with the 7 sages and was completely unaware of this weapon. which had dropped from the sky and hit him on the crown of his head. No longer able to stand on his feet, he toppled over. He managed to scramble up again and was about to flee, when the Holy Father Erlang's small hound dashed forward and bit him in the calf. He was pulled down for the second time and lay on the ground cursing. "You brute! Why don't you go and do your master in instead of coming to bite old monkey?" Rolling over quickly, he tried to get up, but the 7 sages all pounced on him and pinned him down. They bound him with ropes and punctured his breastbone with a knife so that he could transform no further. Lao Jai retrieved his diamond snare and requested the Jade Emperor to return to the Hall of Divine Mists with Guanyin, the Queen Mother, and the rest of the immortals. Down below, the 4 great Deva kings and Deva Raja Li all retired their troops, broke camp, and went forward to congratulate Erlang, saying, "This is indeed a magnificent accomplishment by the little sage." "This has been the great blessing of the heavenly Devas," said the little sage, "and the proper exercise of their divine authority. What have I accomplished?" The brothers Kang, Zhang, Yao, and Li said, "Elder brother need have no further discussion. Let us take this fellow up to the Jade Emperor to see what will be done with him." "Worthy brothers," said the immortal master, "you may not have a personal audience with the Jade Emperor because you have not received any divine appointment. Let the celestial guardians take him into custody. I shall go with the Deva Raja to the region above to make our report, while all of you make a thorough search of the mountain here. After you have cleaned it out, go back to the river of libations. When I have our deeds recorded and received our rewards, I shall return to celebrate with you." The 4 grand marshals and the 2 generals followed his bidding. The immortal master then mounted the clouds with the rest of the deities, and they began their triumphal journey back to heaven, singing songs of victory all the way. In a little while, they reached the outer court of the Hall of Perfect Light, and the heavenly preceptor went forward to memorialize the throne, saying, "The 4 great Deva Rajas have captured the monstrous monkey, the great sage equal to heaven. They await the command of your majesty." The Jade Emperor then gave the order that the Demon King Mahabali and the Celestial Guardians take the prisoner to the monster execution block, where he was to be cut to small pieces. Alas, this is what happens to fraud and impudence, now punished by the law. Heroics grand will fade in the briefest time. We do not know what will become of the Monkey King. Let's listen to the explanation in the next chapter. I feel like that was a really, really long chapter. Oh, 14 pages. They're pretty consistent, which is a lot different than, what's it called? Haunting of Hill House. How's everybody doing? Did you follow all of that? I'm kind of glad that this OP Goku-like monkey is not infallible. You be nice to Nerd Takes, Dom. I thought you were watching a stupid game. Thank you, Cliff. Hi, glad you're here, and thank you for my snacks. This is such a weird song, but it's definitely you. Or they explain what happened earlier in the story. Yeah, they did. They definitely did a better recap. I probably go into too much detail for a recap. Like, you could go back and listen, I guess. Maybe I don't need to make them as in-depth. It's Huan, like Huain. That's how I'm pronouncing it. I don't know if anyone knows Chinese to correct me. So I apologize for any mispronunciations. Yeah, that's definitely a line to hear. That is true, especially when they're fighting each other with their iron rods. Hey, Clinton. It's okay. Sorry I changed the time on you. You'll get used to it eventually, I hope. Hey, blue-eyed devil. God, you and blue-eyed Scorpio are driving me crazy. Blue cord devil. Meeting up with Adam and crew tomorrow at Big Rob's place to oh, really? That's awesome. Okay, can use prayers, and if anyone can, Vet's Talking has posted on the Facebook page of a 501c3. Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Legatus. I appreciate it. Yeah. Go check that out, guys. Thank you, Blue Cord. I appreciate that. And good on you guys. It's awesome that you're doing that. Stay safe out there, okay? Especially with all of the shenanigans going on with people donating their money, time, goods, services that aren't of a certain governmental variety. Was the fish a Trump trout? No, it wasn't. Hey, Zombie, how's it going? Isn't it a bit late there? Early? Mud crab, I was talking about you earlier. I'm going to ignore this because it's mean. Oh, daylight savings, huh? Wait, so you're now an hour ahead? What time is it there? It's so weird because you're on winter going into spring when we're summer going into fall. It always throws me off. You guys are weird. And yes, the fact that they're all different at all times, like the UK does it differently than us and you, and it's weird. Weird time of year. The game is boring you. Oh. I see then. Yay, you gave me lots of snacks. Thank you. I appreciate it, Blue Cord. You know Chinese, really? So was this comment directed towards me? I'm just gonna let y'all know names of people and or bands for who sings what, who does what. Yeah, those they just disappear out of my brain half the time. So if I'm supposed to know this person, I don't. But I might. And apparently I'm too young for Peter Gabriel. Don't make excuses. We all know one rolled up to the flower fruit mountain and it's lowered 60 foot bullet track. Nice, Kel. Solid. You're being honest about me and how much I am. No, I was just talking. What was it? You always ask me, oh, the mug that I'm drinking out of. I said you'd probably be in later, but that was for your benefit. Oh. Yeah, see, I didn't even know what that song was until you sent it to me. You were the one that sent it to me, right? Or tagged me in it. 11:47 there. It's math I don't want to do. Okay. Noted. Oh, yeah, you're one of those weirdo half-hour time zones. You make no sense. Time zones are differences of an hour. Why are you so backwards down under? Oh, okay, very well. Speaking of which, I'm going to refresh my RK Outpost mug with some hot tea. I'll be right back. Did you guys enjoy my new avatar? Yeah, believe me, when I went on, it was when I went on the full Aussie that I learned that y'all have, well, not you, Dom, but the Down Under peeps have half-hour time zones. Because Lethal gave me the time, and I looked at it, and I'm like, half hour? What? What is going on? It was so funny. And that's your excuse for it? Like convicts, what, they only work in half-hour increments or something? Like, I don't even know how that's a response. We're not backwards. Everyone else is. Get it right, Legatus. The metric system sucks. Exactly. Listen to Kel. Before the railroads helped standardize time, each city had their own time zones. I recall correctly. Hey, I was able to read that and remember what it meant quickly. That's different. I never know if you're serious with this. Are they on another hiatus? Like, I don't get their notifications anymore, like on Saturdays and stuff. Are they on a break? The convict states aren't that smart. So you have half-hour increment times. It still doesn't make sense that it's 30 minutes. You're not giving me a good enough explanation. Hi, Sam. That was more for Mudcrab and you, I guess. Did I miss you coming in chat earlier? The phrasing of that was poor. Aha, I should have just seen. Legatus would have told me. Oh, yeah, Lethal. He's in Japan. Got it. I forgot about that. How long is he there for? Has it been a week already? Not that I'm trying to, like, air his business. But people already knew that. Oh, yeah, and Rhino was in the States. Very well. You're misspelling hentai, by the way. You have a retarded Aussie clock. Are you saying that because you just got here? It's funny because I think I have Sydney time zone. But that's only an hour. Yeah, it matches by the hour for Sydney. It's like Adelaide or something. That's the half hour. It's so weird. Whatever. I work with people. We have a Sydney office. So when I communicate with them, I always need to know what, well, I don't need to know what time it is. I like to know what time it is. So I have a clock for them. Yes, because I am a grammar Yahtzee that if it's a language I know, I will also make corrections to people. No, we are not yet halfway through. I think it was Don that asked that. Yeah, we are not yet halfway through, sir. Well, Sam was able to put it in there. Auto misspelling is what they do best. Oh, I believe it. I am a little surprised, yes, that they didn't censor it, but apparently the bots don't speak Japanese. With the way Japan is with things like tentacle hentai stuffs, you would think that the bots would be aware. It's kind of crazy going from The Haunting of Hill House with like chapters that are sometimes 2 paragraphs to like consistently 14 to 15 pages each chapter. Sorry, I'm just admiring the artwork on the front of the front cover. I obviously know who Sun Wukong is, but just trying to figure out if we've met anyone else on the... Oh, Sam, by the way, do you like my nails? Somewhat hard to see. Here, let me help you. You see if do they show better like that? Without that light in the background. Oh, it almost focused. I showed them earlier, but you and Devil weren't here yet, so it was just for Blue-Eyed Scorpio that the first time. The bots only censor Japanese things when you point out that black we're not samurai. You know, that is a valid point. I like the cut of your jib, sir. Nicely organized. I don't know what that's in reference to, Dom, or I would comment further on it. Oh, you're talking about the chapters, aren't you? Never mind. Food. Letting my brother know why the cat is demanding things of him. It's either outside or food. And since it's 7:30 here, it's definitely for food that he's going to stare at and not eat. Are you going to feed him? All right. Well, on that note, let's move on to chapter 7. I click the right button. Chapter 7. From the 8 trigrams brazier, the great sage escapes. Beneath the 5 phases mountain, mind monkey is still. Fame and fortune, all predestined. One must ever shun a guileful heart. Rectitude and truth, the fruits of virtue grow both long and deep. A little presumption brings on heaven's wrath, though yet unseen, it will surely come in time. Ask the Lord of the East for why such pains and perils now appear. Because pride has sought to scale the limits, ignoring hierarchy to flout the law. We were telling you about the great sage equal to heaven, who was taken by the celestial guardians to the monster execution block, where he was bound to the monster subduing pillar. They then slashed him with a scimitar, hewed him with an axe, stabbed him with a spear, and hacked him with a sword, but they could not hurt his body in any way. Next, the star spirit of the South Pole ordered the various deities of the fire department to burn them with fire, but that too had little effect. The gods of the thunder department were then ordered to strike him with thunderbolts, but not a single one of his hairs was destroyed. The demon king Mahabali and the others therefore went back to report to the throne, saying, "Your Majesty, we don't know where this great sage has acquired such power to protect his body. Your subjects slashed him with a scimitar and hewed him with an axe, We also struck him with thunder and burned him with fire. Not a single one of his hairs was destroyed. What shall we do?" When the Jade Emperor heard these words, he said, "What indeed can we do to a fellow like that, a creature of that sort?" Lao Jai then came forward and said, "That monkey ate the immortal peaches and drank the imperial wine. Moreover, he stole the divine elixir and ate 5 gourdfuls of it, both raw and cooked. All this was proudly refined in his stomach by the samadhi fire to form a single solid mass. The union with his constitution gave him a diamond body, which cannot be quickly destroyed. It would be better, therefore, if this Taoist takes him away and places him in the brazier of 8 trigrams, where he will be smelted by high and low heat. When he is finally separated from my elixir, his body will certainly be reduced to ashes." When the Jade Emperor heard these words, he told the 6 gods of darkness and the 6 gods of light to release the prisoner and hand him over to Lao Jai, who left in obedience to the divine decree. Meanwhile, the illustrious sage Erlang was rewarded with 100 gold blossoms, 100 bottles of imperial wine, 100 pellets of elixir, together with rare treasures, lustrous pearls, and brocades, which he was told to share with his brothers. After expressing his gratitude, the immortal master returned to the mouth of the river of libations, and for the time being we shall speak of him no further. Arriving at the Tushita Palace, Lao Jai loosened the ropes on the great sage, pulled out the weapon from his breastbone, and pushed him into the brazier of 8 trigrams. He then ordered the Taoist who watched over the brazier and the page boy in charge of the fire to blow up a strong flame for the smelting process. The brazier, you see, was of 8 compartments, corresponding to the 8 trigrams of Qian, Kan, Gen, Zhen, Jun, Li, Kun, and Du. The great sage crawled into the space beneath the compartment that corresponded to the Jun trigram. Now, Jun symbolizes wind. Where there is wind, there is no fire. However, wind could churn up smoke, which at that moment reddened his eyes, giving him a permanently inflamed condition. Hence, they were sometimes called fiery eyes and diamond pupils. Truly, time passed swiftly, and the 49th day arrived imperceptibly. The alchemical process of Lao Jai was perfected, and on that day he came to open the brazier to take out his elixir. The great sage at the time was covering his eyes with both hands, rubbing his face, and shedding tears. He heard noises on top of the brazier and opening his eyes, suddenly saw light. Unable to restrain himself, he leapt out of the brazier. Am I saying that right? Please correct me if I'm wrong. Brazier. I'll check momentarily. He heard noises on top of the brazier and opening his eyes, suddenly saw light. Unable to restrain himself, he leapt out of the brazier and kicked it over with a loud crash. He began to walk straight out of the room while a group of startled fire tenders and guardians tried desperately to grab hold of him. Every one of them was overthrown. He was as wild as a white-browed tiger in a fit, a one-horned dragon with a fever. Lao Jai rushed up to clutch at him, only to be greeted by such a violent shove that he fell head over heels while the great sage escaped. Whipping the compliant rod out from his ear, he waved it once in the wind, and it had the thickness of a rice bowl. Holding it in his hands without regard for good or ill, he once more careened through the heavenly palace, fighting so fiercely that the 9 luminaries all shut themselves in, and the 4 Devarajas disappeared from sight. Dear monkey monster, here is a testimonial poem for him. The poem says, "This cosmic being fully fused with nature's gifts passes with ease through 10,000 toils and tests. Vast and motionless like the one great void, perfect, quiescent, he's named the primal depth. Long refined in the brazier, he's no mercury or lead, just the very immortal living above all things. Forever transforming, he changes still. 3 refuges and three refugees and five commandments. Refuges? Whatever. And 5 commandments he all rejects. Here is another poem. A spirit beam filling the supreme void. That's how the rod behaves accordingly. It lengthens or shortens as one would wish. Upright or prone, it grows or shrinks at will. And another. An ape's body of Tao weds the human mind. Mind is a monkey, this meaning's profound. The great sage equal to heaven is no false thought. How could the post of Banhorse justly show his gifts? Horse works with monkey means both mind and will, need binding firmly. Don't seek them outside. All things back to nirvana follow one truth, to join Tathagata beneath twin trees. This time, our Monkey King had no respect for persons great or small. He lashed out this way and that with his iron rod, and not a single deity could withstand him. He fought all the way into the Hall of Perfect Light and was approaching the Hall of Divine Mists, where fortunately numinous Officer Wang, aide to the immortal master... I apologize. Let me start that over. He fought all the way into the Hall of Perfect Light and was approaching the Hall of Divine Mists, where fortunately numinous Officer Wang, aide to the immortal master of adjuvant holiness, was on duty. He saw the great sage advancing recklessly and went forward to bar his way, holding high his golden whip. "Wanton monkey," he cried, "where are you going?" "I am here, so don't you dare be insolent." The great sage did not wait for further utterance. He raised his rod and struck at once, while numinous officer met him also with brandished whip. The two of them charged into each other in front of the Hall of Divine Mists. What a fight that was between a red-blooded patriot of ample fame and a heaven's rebel with notorious name. The saint and sinner gladly tangle close, so that two brave fighters can test their skills. Though the rod is fierce and the whip is fleet, how can the upright and just one forbear? This one is the supreme god of judgment with thunderous voice, the other the great sage equal to heaven, a monstrous ape. The golden whip and the iron rod used by the two are both divine weapons from the house of God. At Divine Mist's treasure hall, they show their might today, each displaying his prowess willingly. This one brashly seeks to take the Big Dipper Palace. The other, with all his strength, defends the sacred realm. In bitter strife, relentless, they show their power. Moving back and forth, whip or rod has yet to score. The two of them fought for some time, and neither victory nor defeat could yet be determined. The immortal master of adjuvant holiness, however, had already sent word to the Thunder Department, and 36 Thunder deities were summoned to the scene. They surrounded the great sage and plunged into a fierce battle. The great sage was not in the least intimidated. Wielding his compliant rod, he parried left and right and met his attackers to the front and to the rear. In a moment, he saw that the scimitars, lances, swords, halberds, whips, maces, hammers, axes, gilt bludgeons, sickles, and spades of the thunder deities were coming thick and fast. So with one shake of his body, he changed into a creature with 6 arms and 3 heads. One wave of the compliant rod, and it turned into 3. His 6 arms wielded the 3 rods like a spinning wheel, whirling and dancing in their midst. The various thunder deities could not approach him at all. Truly his form was tumbling round and round, bright and luminous, of form everlasting, how imitated by men. He cannot be burned by fire. Can he ever be drowned in water? A lustrous pearl of Mani he is indeed, immune to all the spears and the swords. He could be good, he could be bad. Present good and evil he could do at will. He'd be an immortal, a Buddha if he's good. Wickedness would cloak him with hair and horn. Endlessly changing, he runs amuck in heaven, not to be seized by fighting lords or thunder gods. At the time, the various deities had the great sage surrounded, but they could not close in on him. All the hustle and bustle soon disturbed the Jade Emperor, who at once sent the wandering minister of inspection and the immortal master of blessed wings to go to the western region and invite the aged Buddha to come and subdue the monster. The two sages received the decree and went straight to the spirit mountain. After they had greeted the 4 Vajra Buddhas and the 8 Bodhisattvas in front of the treasure temple of Thunderclap, they asked them to announce their arrival. The deities therefore went before the treasure lotus platform and made their report. Tathagata at once invited them to appear before him, and the two sages made obeisance to the Buddha 3 times before standing in attendance beneath the platform. Tathagata asked, "What causes the Jade Emperor to trouble the two sages to come here?" The two sages explained as follows. Some time ago, there was born on the Flower Fruit Mountain a monkey who exercised his magic powers and gathered to himself a troop of monkeys to disturb the world. The Jade Emperor threw down a decree of pacification and appointed him a Bimawen, but he despised the lowliness of that position and left in rebellion. Devaraja Lee and Prince Nada were sent to capture him, but they were unsuccessful, and another proclamation of amnesty was given to him. He was then made the great sage equal to heaven, a rank without compensation. After a while, he was given the temporary job of looking after the Garden of Immortal Peaches, where almost immediately he stole the peaches. He also went to the Jasper Pool and made off with the food and wine, devastating the grand festival. Half drunk, he went secretly into the Tashita Palace, stole the elixir of Lao Jai, and then left the Celestial Palace in revolt. Again, the Jade Emperor sent 100,000 heavenly soldiers, but he was not to be subdued. Therefore, Guanyin sent for the immortal master Erlang and his sworn brothers who fought and pursued him. Even then, he knew many tricks of transformation, and only after he was hit by Lao Jai's diamond snare could Erlang finally capture him. Taken before the throne, he was condemned to be executed. But, though slashed by a scimitar and hewn by an axe, burned by fire and struck by thunder, he was not hurt at all. After Lao Jai had received royal permission to take him away, he was refined by fire, and the brazier was not opened until the 49th day. Immediately, he jumped out of the brazier of 8 trigrams and beat back the celestial guardians. He penetrated into the Hall of Perfect Light and was approaching the Hall of Divine Mists when numinous Officer Wang, aide to the immortal master of adjuvant holiness, met and fought with him bitterly. 36 Thunder generals were ordered to encircle him completely, but they could never get near him. The situation is desperate, and for this reason, the Jade Emperor sent a special request for you to defend the throne. When Tathagata heard this, he said to the various bodhisattvas, "All of you remain steadfast here in the chief temple and let no one relax his meditative posture. I have to go exorcise a demon and defend the throne." Brazier? It's a kind of combination incense burner light source. DQ. Brazier. Is that right, Sam? Help me. Brazier. So like bracer, but with a Z sound? DQ used to be DQ. Sorry for real flame broiled burgers. Well, that's what I'm going to say. Bracer with a Z sound. And to defend the throne. Tathagata then called Ananda with a J. So brazier. Brazier. Cool. with a ZH sound. Shit. Okay. Tathagata then called Ananda and Kasyapa, his two venerable disciples, to follow him. They left the Thunderclap Temple and arrived at the gate of the Hall of Divine Mists, where they were met by deafening shouts and yells. It's going to be funny if it isn't used for the rest of this chapter, by the way. At least I figured it out. Well, at least I learned. It's a better way. There, the great sage was being beset by the 36 thunder deities. The Buddhist patriarch gave the Dharma order. Let the thunder deities lower their arms and break up their encirclement. Ask the great sage to come out here and let me ask him what sort of divine power he has. The various warriors retreated immediately, and the great sage also threw off his magical appearance. Changing back into his true form, he approached angrily and shouted with ill humor, "What region are you from, monk, that you dare stop the battle and question me?" Tathagata laughed and said, "I am Sakyamuni, the venerable one from the western region of ultimate bliss. I have heard just now about your audacity, your wildness, and your repeated acts of rebellion against heaven. Where were you born, and in which year did you succeed in acquiring the way? Why are you so violent and unruly?" The great sage said, "I was born of earth and heaven, immortal, divinely fused, an old monkey hailing from the flower fruit mount. I made my home in the water curtain cave. Seeking friend and teacher, I learned the great mystery. Perfected in the many arts of ageless life, I learned to change in ways boundless and vast. Too narrow the space I found on that mortal earth. I set my mind to live in the green jade sky. In divine mists hall, none should long reside, for king may follow king in the reign of man. If might is honor, let them yield to me. He only is hero who dares to fight and win." When the Buddhist patriarch heard these words, he laughed aloud in scorn. "A fellow like you," he said, "is only a monkey who happened to become a spirit. How dare you be so presumptuous as to want to seize the honored throne of the exalted Jade Emperor? He began practicing religion when he was very young, and he has gone through the bitter experience of 1,750 kalpas, with each kalpa lasting 129,600 years. Figure out yourself how many years it took him to rise to the enjoyment of his great and limitless position. You are merely a beast who has just attained human form in this incarnation. How dare you make such a boast? Blasphemy. This is sheer blasphemy, and it will surely shorten your allotted age. Repent while there's still time and cease your idle talk. Be weary that you don't encounter such peril that you will be cut down in an instant, and all your original gifts will be wasted." "Even if the Jade Emperor has practiced religion from childhood," said the great sage, "he should not be allowed to remain here forever. The proverb says, 'Many are the turns of kingship. By next year, the turn will be mine.' Tell him to move out at once and hand over the celestial palace to me. That'll be the end of the matter. If not, I shall continue to cause disturbances and there will never be peace." "Besides your immortality and your transformations," said the Buddhist patriarch, "what other powers do you have that you dare to usurp this hallowed region of heaven?" "I've plenty of them," said the great sage. "Indeed, I know 72 transformations and a life that does not grow old through 10,000 kalpas. I know also how to cloud somersault, and one leap will take me 180,000 miles. Why can't I sit on the heavenly throne?" The Buddhist patriarch said, "Let me make a wager with you. If you have the ability to somersault clear of this right palm of mine, I shall consider you the winner. You need not raise your weapon in battle then, for I shall ask the Jade Emperor to go live with me in the West and let you have the celestial palace. If you cannot somersault out of my hand, you can go back to the region below and be a monster. Work through a few more kalpas before you return to cause more trouble." When the great sage heard this, he said to himself, snickering, "What a fool this Tathagata is. A single somersault of mine can carry old monkey 108,000 miles, yet his palm is not even 1 foot across. How could I possibly not jump clear of it?" He asked quickly, "You're certain that your decision will stand?" "Certainly it will," said Tathagata. He stretched out his right hand, which was about the size of a lotus leaf. Our great sage put away his compliant rod and, summoning his power, leapt up and stood right in the center of the patriarch's hand. He said simply, "I'm off,"
and he was gone, all but invisible like a streak of light in the clouds. Training the eye of wisdom on him, the Buddhist patriarch saw that the Monkey King was hurtling along relentlessly like a whirligig? As the great sage advanced, he suddenly saw 5 flesh-pink pillars supporting a mass of green air. This must be the end of the road, he said. When I go back presently, Tathagata will be my witness, and I shall certainly take up residence in the Palace of Divine Mists. But he thought to himself, wait a moment. I'd better leave some kind of memento if I'm going to negotiate with Tathagata. He plucked a hair and blew a mouthful of magic breath onto it, crying, change. It changed into a writing brush with extra thick hair soaked in heavy ink. On the middle pillar, he then wrote in large letters the following line. The great sage, equal to heaven, has made a tour of this place. When he had finished writing, he retrieved his hair, and with a total lack of respect, he left a bubbling pool of monkey urine at the base of the first pillar. He reversed his cloud somersault and went back to where he had started. Standing on Tathagata's palm, he said, I left, and now I'm back. Tell the Jade Emperor to give me the Celestial Palace. You pisshead ape, scolded Tathagata. Since when did you ever leave the palm of my hand? The great sage said, you were just ignorant. I went to the edge of heaven, and I found 5 flesh-pink pillars supporting a mass of green air. I left a memento there. Do you dare go with me to have a look at the place? No need to go there, said Tathagata. Just lower your head and take a look. When the great sage stared down with his fiery eyes and diamond pupils, he found written on the middle finger of the Buddhist patriarch's right hand the sentence, the great sage, equal to heaven, has made a tour of this place. A pungent whiff of monkey urine came from the fork between the thumb and the first finger. Astonished, the great sage said, could this really happen? Could this really happen? I wrote those words on the pillar supporting the sky. How is it that they now appear on his finger? Could it be that he is exercising the magic power of foreknowledge without divination? I won't believe it. I won't believe it. Let me go there once more. Dear great sage. Quickly, he crouched and was about to jump up again when the Buddhist patriarch flipped his hand over and tossed the Monkey King out of the West Heaven Gate. The 5 fingers were transformed into the 5 phases of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. They became, in fact, 5 connected mountains, named 5 Phases Mountain, which pinned him down with just enough pressure to keep him there. The thunder deities, Ananda and Kasyapa, all folded their hands and cried in acclamation. Praise be to virtue. Praise be to virtue. He learned to be human, born from an egg that year, and aimed to reap the authentic way's fruit. He lived in a fine place by kalpas untouched. One day he changed, expending vim and strength. Craving high place, he flouted heaven's reign, mocked saints and stole pills, breaking great relations. Evil, full to the brim, now meets retribution. We know not when he may find release. After the Buddhist patriarch Tathagata had vanquished the monstrous monkey, he at once called Ananda and Kasyapa to return with him to the Western Paradise. At that moment, however, Tian Pang and Tian Yu, 2 celestial messengers, came running out of the treasure hall of divine mists and said, We beg Tathagata to wait a moment, please. Our Lord's grand carriage will arrive momentarily. When the Buddhist patriarch heard these words, he turned around and waited with reverence. In a moment, he did indeed see a chariot drawn by 8 colorful phoenixes and covered by a canopy adorned with 9 luminous jewels. The entire cortege was accompanied by the sound of wondrous songs and melodies, chanted by a vast celestial choir. Scattering precious blossoms and diffusing fragrance incense, it came up to the Buddha, and the Jade Emperor offered his thanks, saying, We are truly indebted to your mighty Dharma for vanquishing that monster. We beseech Tathagata to remain for one brief day so that we may invite the immortals to join us in giving you a banquet of thanks. Not daring to refuse, Tathagata folded his hands to thank the Jade Emperor, saying, Your old monk came here at your command, most honorable Deva. Of what power may I boast, really? I owe my success entirely to the excellent fortune of your majesty and the various deities. How can I be worthy of your thanks? The Jade Emperor then ordered the various deities from the Thunder Department to send invitations abroad to the 3 pure ones, the 4 ministers, the 5 elders, the 6 women officials, the 7 stars, the 8 poles, and the 9 luminaries and the 10 capitals. Together with 1,000 immortals and 10,000 sages, they were to come to the Thanksgiving banquet given for the Buddhist patriarch. The 4 great imperial preceptors and the divine maidens of 9 heavens were told to open wide the golden gates of the jade capital. The treasure palace of primal secret and the 5 lodges of penetrating brightness. Tathagata was asked to be seated high on the numinous terrace of 7 treasures, and the rest of the deities were then seated according to rank and age before a banquet of dragon livers, phoenix marrow, juices of jade, and immortal peaches. In a little while, the jade pure celestial worthy of commencement, the highest pure celestial worthy of numinous treasure, the great pure celestial worthy of moral virtue, the immortal masters of 5 influences, the star spirits of 5 constellations, the 3 ministers, the 4 sages, the 9 luminaries, the left and right assistants, the Devaraja and Prince Nada, all marched in leading a train of flags and canopies in pairs. They were all holding rare treasures and lustrous pearls, fruits of longevity, and exotic flowers to be presented to the Buddha. As they bowed before him, they said, "We are most grateful for your unfathomable power of Tathagata, who has subdued the monstrous monkey. We are grateful, too, to the most honorable Deva, who is having this banquet and asked us to come here to offer our thanks. May we beseech Tathagata to give this banquet a name?" Responding to the petition of the various deities, Tathagata said, "If a name is desired, let this be called the Great Banquet for Peace in Heaven." "What a magnificent name!" the various immortals cried in unison. "Indeed, it shall be the Great Banquet for Peace in Heaven." When they finished speaking, they took their seats separately, and there was the pouring of wine and exchanging of cups, pinning of corsages, and playing of zithers. It was indeed a magnificent banquet, for which we have a testimonial poem. The poem says, "That immortal peach fest the ape disturbed is tossed by this banquet for peace in heaven. Dragon flags and phoenix carts glow in halos bright. Blazing signs and banners whirl in hallowed light. The tunes and songs divine are sweet and fair. Phoenix pipes and jade flutes both loudly play. Fragrant incense shrouds this assembly of saints. All the world's tranquil to praise the holy court." As all of them were feasting merrily, the Lady Queen Mother also led a host of divine maidens and immortal singing girls to come before the Buddha, dancing with nimble feet. They bowed to him, and she said, "Our festival of immortal peaches was ruined by that monstrous monkey. We are beholden to the mighty power of Tathagata for the enchainment of this mischievous ape. In the celebration during this great banquet for peace in heaven, we have little to offer as a token of our thanks. Please accept, however, these few immortal peaches plucked from the large trees by our own hands. They were truly half red, half green, and spouting aroma sweet, these luscious divine roots of 10,000 years. Pity those fruits planted at Wuling Spring. How could they match the marvels of heaven's home, those tender ones of purple veins so rare in the world, and those peerlessly sweet of pale yellow pits? They lengthen age, prolong life, and change your frame. He who's lucky to eat them will never be the same." After the Buddhist patriarch had pressed together his hands to thank the Queen Mother, she ordered the immortal singing girls and the divine maidens to sing and dance. All the immortals at the banquet applauded enthusiastically. Truly, there were whirls of heavenly incense filling the seats, and profuse array of divine petals and stems. Jade capital and golden arches in wet great splendor. How priceless, too, the strange goods and rare treasures. Every pair had the same age as heaven. Every set increased through 10,000 kalpas. Mulberry fields or vast oceans, let them shift and change. He who lives here has neither grief nor fear. The Queen Mother commanded the immortal maidens to sing and dance as wine cups and goblets clinked together steadily. After a little while, suddenly, a wondrous fragrance came to meet the nose, rousing stars and planets in the great hall. The gods and the Buddha put down their cups. Raising his head, each weighted his eyes. There in the air appeared an aged man, holding a most luxuriant long-life plant. His gourd had elixir often 1,000 years. His book listed names 12 millennia old. Sky and earth in his cave knew no constraint. Sun and moon were perfected in his vase. He roamed the 4 seas in joy serene and made the 10 islets his tranquil home. Getting drunk often at the Peaches Fest, he woke. The moon shone brightly as of old. He had a long head, short frame, and large ears. His name, Star of Long Life from South Pole. After the Star of Long Life arrived and greeted the Jade Emperor, he also went up to thank Tathagata, saying, "When I first heard that the baneful monkey was being led by Laojai to the Tushita Palace to be refined by alchemical fire, I thought peace was surely secured. I never suspected that he could still escape, and it was fortunate that Tathagata, in his goodness, had subdued this monster. When I got word of the Thanksgiving banquet, I came at once. I have no other gifts to present you but these purple agaric, jasper plant, jade green lotus root, and golden elixir." The poem says, jade green lotus and golden drug are given to Sakya. Like the sands of Ganges as the age of Tathagata. The brocade of the 3 wains is calm, eternal bliss. The 9-grade garland is a wholesome, endless life. The true master of the Madhyamika school dwells in the heaven of both form and emptiness. The great earth and cosmos all call him Lord. His 16-foot diamond frames great in blessing and age. Tathagata accepted the thanks cheerfully, and the Star of Long Life went to his seat. Again there was pouring of wine and exchanging of cups. The great immortal of naked feet also arrived. After prostrating himself before the Jade Emperor, he too went to thank the Buddhist patriarch, saying, "I am profoundly grateful for your dharma, which subdued the baneful monkey. I have no other things to convey my respect but 2 magic pears and some lyre dates, which I now present to you." The poem says, "The naked feet immortal brought fragrant pears and dates to give to Amitabha, whose count of years is long. Firm as a hill is his lotus platform of 7 treasures. Brocade-like is his flower seat of 1,000 gold adorned. No false speech is this. His age equals heaven and earth. Nor is this a lie. His luck is great as the sea. Blessing and long life reach in him their fullest scope, dwelling in that western region of calm, eternal bliss." Tathagata again thanked him and asked Ananda and Kasyapa to put away the gifts one by one before approaching the Jade Emperor to express his gratitude for the banquet. By now, everyone was somewhat tipsy. A spirit minister of inspection then arrived to make the report. "The great sage is sticking out his head." "No need to worry," said the Buddhist patriarch. He took from his sleeve a tag on which were written in gold letters the words, "Om Mani Padme Hum." Handing it over to Ananda, he told him to stick it on the top of the mountain. This deva received the tag, took it out of the heaven gate, and stuck it tightly on a spare piece of rock at the top of the mountain of 5 phases. The mountain immediately struck root and grew together at the seams, though there was enough space for breathing and for the prisoner's hands to crawl out and move around a bit. Ananda then returned to report, "The tag is tightly attached." Tathagata then took leave of the Jade Emperor and the deities and went with the 2 devas out of the heaven gate. Moved by compassion, he recited a divine spell and called together a local spirit and the fearless guards of 5 quarters to stand watch over the 5 phases mountain. They were told to feed the prisoner with iron pellets when he was hungry and to give him melted copper to drink when he was thirsty. When the time of his chastisement was fulfilled, they were told someone would be coming to deliver him. So it is that the brash, baneful monkey in revolt against heaven is brought to submission by Tathagata. He drinks melted copper to endure the seasons and feeds on iron pellets to pass the time. Tried by this bitter misfortune sent from the sky, he's glad to be living, though in a piteous lot. If this hero is allowed to struggle anew, he'll serve Buddha in future and go to the West. Another poem says, prideful of his power once the time was ripe, he tamed dragon and tiger, flaunting wily might. Stealing peaches and wine, he roamed heaven's house. He found trust and grace in the city of jade. He's now bound for his evils full to the brim. By good stock, unfailing his breath, will rise again. If he's indeed to flee Tathagata's hands, he must await from Tang Court the holy monk. We do not know in what month or year hereafter the days of his penance will be fulfilled. Let's listen to the explanation in the next chapter. That one was only 12 pages. You guys just saw in real time how my math works in my head. If you were paying attention, at least. Okay, let's see. Oh, Lord. I forget where I left off. Found it. Whoa, rude. You could at least say hi first, Steve. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming by if you're still here, though. Sam would never. That would be a betrayal that I could never get over. Please don't, Sam. Well, there you go. Like I said, never. Oh my gosh. I like the way it looks like Gal was looking out the window just then. Looking over here. Like I said, I really, really, really want a reading nook like that. Looking to her right, looks like she's looking out the window. My bad. It's my illusion. Starting to think that handsome monkey, great sage equal to heaven might be slightly OP. You're starting to think that now? The devs skipped on the playtesting before they... Yeah, something like that. Brazier. Like Frasier? Is that how it's pronounced? Frasier, but with a B? No. Goku was based off of the book, Biggles. Thank you for being here. I saw you earlier. No, he doesn't. He rocks. If you're still here, Biggles. Vegeta rocks. Not Goku. Goku is OP, stupid, really annoying, a terrible father, and cares about nothing but fighting. So, I don't like him. But I will agree with this. Thank you. What'd your Mets do tonight? Is the game still going? Don't be salty, Dom. You have this mug, huh? Oh God, you two fight like siblings. Hey, your average Patriot nerd, how's it going? Yeah, it's technically been the background the entire time, but so let me show you
I showed this last time, I think. StreamYard did like an update for stuff. This is how you used to see me. This is another way that you could see me. And then this is the one that I'm pretty sure I like this one best. You can have rounded corners or just regular. I like the rounded. But yeah, that's what this is. It's not quite a new background. That's not what I meant to do. Comments. See, let me remove myself and you can see the full picture real quick. Isn't that just peaceful and comforting? Great place to just kick back, have your tea or your coffee, and read a book. Oh, Lord. Where are we at? Is this new background for? Yeah. Who bribed you to say that? I thought, okay. I explain this pretty much every stream. My memory is shite. I thought we had talked about that. So, was that on the stream or was it just random conversation? Oh, Lord, it turned into a baseball argument, didn't it? You mean this prize? This one right here? It's right here. See? Yaira. It's sitting in front of Godzilla just because I have a bunch of cleaning and reorganizing and things that I need to get done. So I've got an overflow of product. You can't see it, but over here is the other stuff that I got from Fan Expo. Stay safe, Blue Cord. Appreciate you being here and what you're doing. Why? Because you look like him and cosplay him without having to cosplay him sometimes, according to Dermy? Or are you just saying you're an old perverted, retired fighter type? I'm pretty funny. All right, cool. So what does everybody think so far? Do we still dislike Sun Wukong? I think that he needs to learn a lesson or two, so I'm hoping that this helps him towards that end. Both is good. No one cares, Dom. Are you playing the game? I take it. I don't really understand the reference. We're not talking Picard here. You have almost 26 hours already? Fucking nerd. Yes, Dom, I agree. He definitely needs punishment. I'm glad that he's not dead, so he can learn his lesson, hopefully. Lessons. I hope he takes the time to think about what he did
like to his monkey family. Because what's happening to them now? We don't know. They ran away. Hopefully they got away. But, and even just like the other creatures on the flower fruit mountain. Like, he caused all that crap. Are you kidding me? All of it was summed up in the first episode? That's interesting. So I believe there's 4 volumes of this, and this is just volume 1. It's almost halfway through. I'd say it's probably like we finished a third of it. How many pages? Oh, you know what? I think we are probably halfway through. I forgot that some of these pages we're not quite halfway through, but a lot of this book's thickness is like the notes and such that you have to go reference. So we're on page 200 and there's 478 pages. So basically halfway through, just under. Okay, where are we at? Nice. Oh, monkey is sheer fucking hubris. Got it. Got it. Yeah, he does leave his monkey family a lot. It's kind of crazy. The TV series more or less teamed him up with Priest and got them walking. Interesting. Yeah, I was wondering like where the journey was eventually going to come into it. So it's kind of funny. All good, Dom. No worries, sir. We're about done. This is just the tail end of it. I do, for this, with how thick the chapters are, it's basically 2 chapters per stream. So I'm kind of just in the winding downness. Whew. But I am glad that we kind of got more of Sun Wukong not being as OP in comparison. He finally met some matches because the what do they call him? The Immortal Master, Huan, was basically his match. He got a little bit of help. And then obviously Tathagata is more powerful than him. So that'll be interesting. I want to see if like he gets some training from that person, or if like him sitting and stewing in the mountain prison that he's in like helps him, like a hyperbolic time chamber or some such thing where he can train himself up to be better. Sun Wukong was the first Gary Stew. I presume you're meaning a Gary Sue, but I agree. Or was that you saying Sue but trying to make it Chinese? Because I would appreciate that as well. Yes, Colfin, you're about to get food. Calm down. All right, everybody. That's my cue to feed the pain in the ass cats that are hungry because it's past their food time. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Go follow me on the socials and all of that fun stuff. Yeah, like, subscribe, share it out. I appreciate all of you who were lurking, everyone who's in chat, and everybody watching on the replay. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you, and I hope you guys have a good night. Something Wong. Bye, everybody. Mwah.